Alright, so there's one more video that I want to watch. And it's about Bam Margera, his conservatorship or whatever that supposedly was going on with him. All the shit that was supposedly going on with him. Uh, and how he ended up in a psych ward talking to Steve-O and shit. I saw this on Steve-O's Wild Ride clips, and I have to react to it because these guys were such a huge part of my childhood upbringing, like you know, becoming an adult and shit. I guess. Um, I spent a lot of time watching these guys and stuff growing up. But anyways, let's see what's going on with this guy.
Have you seen any of this like outrageous free bam fucking?
I've heard about it, but I've never watched any of it. Nope. Where?
It's
That shit was ridiculous. I thought they did a fucking thing that's like free Bam Margera and shit, like like how they did with like Britney Spears and stuff. There was actually people controlling Britney Spears' money. There wasn't actually people controlling his money. There was just people trying to help him out to keep him off of drugs. It's totally different. It's totally fucking different.
Where is it? Is it on Reddit? Is it on the comments? Where do people?
I don't,
Bam Margera actually needed help. Britney Spears was just done wrong, you know. I mean, that's pretty plain to see.
Where are
I
you
mean,
seeing it? Just
it, if you Google it, I mean, I don't know. I don't even. I'm not even gonna point anybody
I've seen that shit on Facebook.
anywhere. But like, I told you what I said on the last episode
Yeah.
of this podcast
Yeah.
about how like the misconception is that people were taking advantage of you, like stripping of your rights so that they could help themselves to your money. But that did not fucking happen.
Yeah. Well, I can't even tell you honestly what the truth is because I hear different stories from everybody who I trust to the point where I don't even know who to trust anymore. You know what I mean? Like,
All right, what's a conflicting account that you're not sure is true?
just the fact that, well, I mean, I don't know if I want to.
we can evaluate it after. we're not trying to put
Jesus
anything out that you're not
Christ.
comfortable with, but I'm just interested to know what.
Well, I was already on my way to treatment in Sierra Tucson, Arizona, and I decided to have one last hurrah because it was Memorial Day, and I was with Joe DeVito and my brother, and like it's going off the chart, you know. So they're like, "All right, one last night, and then you go in." So I went in. We had one.
That's never a good idea to like have one last night before you go into a rehab facility. The best bet's just to go and get it over with. I mean, you're trying to stop using drugs and shit, you know? So, I don't think that one last night thing is ever like a good idea. I know what he's talking about. I've been there, and everybody. I know a lot of people that have been there. And usually the one last night ends up to like skipping fucking going and shit.
One night of fun. The next morning, I got offered to go on this like fun speedboat, and I was like, "I'm doing the speedboat before I go." And they're like, "Nope, you agreed to go in the morning." And I went on the speedboat. Somebody
He just goes on the speedboat anyway, like fuck it.
found out and Baker acted me, which means I had to pay $150,000 more. And I tried to get out of that in Arizona, so I went to Florida. And if you say anything wrong in Florida, such as
Honestly, it sounds like these people are just. It sounds like Bam's like family and shit. It's just wanting him to get sober and stop like drinking and fucking doing drugs and killing himself like that. Like kill himself slowly with drugs and alcohol. Like that's what it sounds like to me. You know.
dude, this guy won't shut the fuck up. He's super annoying. I'm gonna kill myself if he doesn't shut up. You're gonna kill yourself, hands behind your back. No, I'm just saying he's super annoying. I'm not really gonna do that. So, is what I said was, I haven't seen my son in 200 days. If he's not on that airplane, I'm gonna jump off a building. They're like, put your hands behind your back. I'm like, for what? They're like, you're gonna kill yourself. I'm like, I have a movie called Jump Off a Building Before Jackass, and I do just that in the prick of bushes and pools. I didn't kill
He
myself in there. I'm
does.
just saying I miss my kid.
was that the
Jesus
TMZ
Christ.
footage of you at the airport?
I mean, there were a number of episodes, and I think I can help with this.
it must really fucking suck being that famous because you do have people like watching you constantly. You constantly have somebody watching shit that you're doing. So like yeah, that's got to be rough like dealing with that level of fame and stuff and like you know picking through like it's got to be confusing like once you get to that sort of status. It's got to be confusing who's actually your friend, who's not your friend, and like who's just like using you or trying to be close to you for like money and fame and shit, and who's actually like just there, just around just to be your friend and shit. It's hard to tell people that are genuine at that point. I could understand that because uh, there's definitely like there's people that will act fake and shit, act like they're your friend and really they're not and shit. There's people like that even when you're not fucking famous. So imagine being like to the status these fucking people are. Like I'm sure they have to deal with that stuff constantly. It's got to be tough.
The because you pointed to 150,000,
Yeah.
and that was not a Baker Act situation, as I understand it.
What is a Baker Act? I'm
Baker
sorry.
Act is the same exact thing as 5150.
Okay.
And then there's also a Marchment Act too, which is even worse, which I had the pleasure to experience.
What is that?
I
Is
think,
that like
I,
a
think
5250?
I think they're all equivalent. It's just what different states call it. Marchment Act would be Pennsylvania, and then Baker Act is Florida. 5150 is California.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Jesus Christ, and Steve O knows every last one of them. That's not fucking surprising at all.
I'm hip to the psych ward,
It's
dude.
like the psych ward trading card fucking like I got fucking
Right.
Pittsburgh.
Oh, dude, and then when I went to the psych ward, COVID did not exist. It was all these lazy boy chairs that were literally 1 foot apart from each other, and there was like 60 of them. This old motherfucker just coughing all over me. And I think they were giving us like stale bread with like a piece of ham on it. I didn't eat for 8 days in there, but they were like, the security they had fun causing issues. If there's a
Jesus
dude
Christ.
waiting in line to take a piss and he's 13th in line and he makes it all the way to the front and they got into this tiff, he's like, you know what? If you're gonna call me a fucking dickhead piece of shit, you're getting in the back of the line and you're starting. I'm like, dude, you're causing this issue. You should be.
There are like guards and like people like that are in these facilities and shit, people that are supposed to be in charge or whatever that are in these facilities that just stir the fucking pot, just stir shit up to watch drama and stuff unfold between the patients or people that are incarcerated in the said facilities and shit. And it's gross, but I mean it does fucking happen, and it's fucked up. It's like why cause like you have nothing better to do except come to work and cause drama between like inmates or fucking wards or like people that are fucking already miserable with their life and shit. You have nothing better to do but to come to work and make it worse. Like, yeah, I get that. So I can see where Bam's coming from that perspective. That kind of shit does suck. And I have been there and I have fucking experienced it. And it's not a fun time. It's just not. But I mean, honestly, like sucking it up and fucking dealing with it, which a lot of times you have no choice but to suck it up and deal with it in those situations. So, you just adapt to it and try and come out better than what you was before. That's the whole point of it.
Be ashamed of yourself. Then one nutto was jerking off to his own shit and throwing it on the wall. I'm like, I don't belong in here.
That's fucking crazy. There are people in there that are fucking in those places that are fucking and like just crazy, and you look at them and you're like, fuck, these people actually, there's some people that actually need to be in these fucking places, but then there's people that are honestly kind of misplaced in those situations. there can be people that are misplaced, but I mean, if you're a raging fucking alcoholic and shit like that, then honestly, I don't know how misplaced that is.
When I was in the psych ward, I
I don't
watched a
belong
guy.
here.
I watched a guy take a shit on a carpeted hallway, and then like just plop himself onto it and use his own body to just smear it around into the carpet. It looked like he was breakdancing in his own shit.
Jesus
Like
Christ.
it was crazy.
See, now these are reasons to get Remarchment Act or have to do another 90 days.
That's when
My
they-
interventionist knew that I had the money or whatever, and he kept making excuses. The first excuse was I was rocking the same pants for 8 days, and I had 5 days.
Yeah, see that. This sounds like they were just doing shit because they knew that Bam had money to keep paying for the fucking to be there, so they kept making up reasons why he needed to stay to keep getting more money. I could see that. Like that could be a thing, you know what I mean? Possibly. I don't know. Could be. Might not be. You never know. But I could see it.
Days left.
But yeah, definitely. I mean, somebody smearing their own shit, stuff like rolling around their own shit, stuff like that. It's definitely that's definitely grounds for like the Marksman's Act or something like that. That's fucking disgusting. Absolutely fucking disgusting.
Of 90 days, and he's like, "You've been rocking the same pants for 10 days." I'm like, "Yeah, I'm not trying to get any pussy in here. I don't care." They're like, "You're doing another 90 days." Then I threw a cigarette out into a bush. They filmed the cigarette smoking. It wasn't on fire, and they said I could have lit the whole national forest on fire to do another 90 days. These aren't reasons to keep somebody in there. I had to do over a year and 3 months, I think, when I was only supposed to do 90.
But I think we can break this down again. The original Baker Act, whatever was going on, and again, I'm going to point to the 150,000 because I think we're talking about the same thing. The understanding I have was that when you were placed legally under a guardianship,
Yeah.
there was the guardianship was essentially for the purposes of forcing you to go to treatment.
Right.
But treatment is not for free. Treatment costs a lot of money. So I was told an understanding between the guardian and your family, like specifically April and Phil, that they needed to come up, just in general, like everybody needed to come up with money to pay for you to go to rehab.
And I believe the total of it all was like $660,000.
Exactly.
That's a lot of goddamn money. Holy fuck.
And
But the first
Lima, the
150
Guardian, paid for most of it. I
Right.
don't know if it was for her own pocket or having people help. I don't know, but
Right.
my mind is boggled from it all.
The first 150 came from your family.
Yeah.
After that, the 150 was gone, and it was gone. Then the money for rehab was coming from the Guardian, which is so completely opposite of what people thought was happening,
Right.
where everybody was helping themselves to your money. In fact, it was the Guardian was just sinking hundreds of thousands of dollars, keeping you into rehab. That's where I lose
Sounds like whoever the Guardian was somebody that cared about him.
the understanding, because
Right.
I don't understand what incentive there was for the Guardian to keep you in rehab, because she was the one paying for it. So
Right,
that doesn't
right.
make sense. But
That's what I'm trying to say.
there's other actors in the picture
Yeah.
who seem to clearly be benefiting somehow by keeping you in rehab. Like, oh, that's another 90 days because you flicked a cigarette. That's another 90 days because you're wearing the same band. I don't know what the incentive was for those third-party actors.
Yeah.
But clearly they weren't getting into your bank account either.
Yeah.
So that's where I get confused.
But is what also confuses me is that treatment is supposed to get you like off drugs. So they're like, "What's your issue?" I'm like, "Well, my issue is alcohol and Adderall. I've been prescribed to that for 13 years." Okay, well, we're gonna give you Vyvanse, propanolol, bipropion, like 13 different things that make you a zombie. I'm like, I'm on more drugs in here than I was on out in the street.
I remember when I got sober, man,
That is fucking true. You go to these fucking programs and they fucking just load you down with a shitload of pills, and they can keep you significantly more fucked up than what you was on the streets, or at least at the same level as what you was on the streets and stuff, which is kind of counterproductive. You know what I mean? Doesn't really do much good, towards getting you sober if you're loaded with with just different kinds of drugs and shit. As soon as you go into rehab, like it's fucking stupid. Makes no sense.
They called me medicine boy
Yeah.
in my rehab because like it looked like a bowl of cereal. It looked like Lucky Charms or some shit.
Do you remember what you were on when you were in there?
I remember Depakote being one
Me
of
too.
them.
I was on that. Yeah.
What does that do?
I mean, like it would make me a zombie. Like I would be like in groups and I'd be like nodding off.
But then there was these side effects of like,
And it made me
let's
super
say
fat.
Depakote might give you diarrhea. Now you have to take a pill to not give you diarrhea, but then the side effect of that pill is that you get headaches, and then you have to take another pill to get rid of the headache. So you're constantly just taking more and more shit to get rid of the side effects of whatever they're giving you. It's crazy.
Who called you medicine boy?
just the other like in the morning you would go in to like if you had any meds, you weren't allowed to have your own meds in rehab, so you would go into like the rehab office and like sign out like what your meds were, and so there would be like a line of people getting ready to take their meds, and the people in the line would see what I was taking in the morning, and they would be like, holy God, medicine boy. How do you like, it was like a meal of I don't get it.
You want breakfast? Like, no, I'm full,
And dude, I put on all kinds of weight.
Was it a long process getting off of all of that?
You know what? Like, you're supposed to really pay attention to like weaning off. Like,
Yeah.
it was a combination of like legitimately just forgetting to take my meds. Once I got out of rehab and I was in sober living,
Yeah.
then I took possession of all the meds, and it was me having to remember, and sometimes I wouldn't remember. Plus, I didn't fucking want to be on these
For
meds.
sure.
And when you're in there, you could slowly watch your friends or new people come in over time, them slowly or quickly gain weight. I had a roommate named Big Ben, and he was like over 500 pounds. And I was like, so how'd you get that weight? Well,
That is fucking true. You gain a shitload of weight when you're like incarcerated or locked up or anything like that. Put on some pounds and stuff. It's amazing. That shit will preserve you.
he's like, well, I've been here for over a year, and I came in at only like 310. I'm like, so you gained nearly 200 pounds in here? Motherfucker died in his sleep from a heart attack.
Oh, really?
Wow, you were
Jesus
there?
Yeah, he would just
Christ.
sleep all day, not make it to class, and then when he would wake up, he would smoke a bunch of cigarettes and then just eat like a full blown, those Cracker Barrel like cheese bricks?
Oh,
He would
yeah.
just put that on like a hoagie roll and melt it in the fucking microwave and just house that son of a bitch. I'm like, dude, you're so unhealthy. But
Yeah.
but yeah, everybody in there, they all
Jesus
like
Christ.
just slowly gain weight. It's like, damn, I remember when you were here fucking 3 months ago, you were not 20 pounds heavier.
Right.
So
But I mean, I don't even know if I benefited or not. I do know that I was bouncing around rehabs and psych wards for 6 months, and then I went into just like a halfway house sober living, and that was the 6 month mark, and I just forgot to take meds. I didn't want to take meds. I just stopped cold turkey, and I got away with it.
Did you have any side effects from that?
From stopping,
From just stopping
I
cold
don't think
turkey?
so.
No.
I mean, I don't know.
Yeah.
Did you? When was Dancing with the Stars?
That was right when I turned.
Whenever I went to jail, whenever I got out, I weighed like 190 pounds. And whenever I went into jail, I weighed like 130. So I went from 130 to 190 in like a year. So you put on a shitload of weight. They feed you a shitload of carbs and stuff when you're in there.
Turned 1 year sober.
So from 6 months to 1 year.
I was just off the radar, man. Like I put down the cameras. I just hunkered down and made.
Was it like a mental health decision? Like, were you kind of like in a dark place, or were you just kind of focusing on stuff and happy?
I just needed to focus on nothing but.
I think anytime somebody's like getting sober and shit like that, at the beginning of it or through the whole process, can be kind of a dark place most of the time. I mean, if you're human, Yeah, the whole process can be a dark place, I feel like.
Staying sober in recovery. Do you like shopping on Amazon? I do. And good news is, Steve-O's butt wipes for your butthole are available on Amazon.
I'm getting some of those motherfuckers for my motherfucking hiking trips. So whenever I go backpacking, I can have some of those to wipe my ass with. So, yeah, for the Nerds Adventure channel, I need those, honestly, so I can see where that would be better than carrying toilet paper.
And if you want
I'm glad I stuck around for the fucking ad at the end of the
a
video.
real bundle of a deal, you can get Steve-O's hot sauce for your butthole, plus Steve-O's butthole destroyer, and Steve-O's butt wipes
Jesus
for your butthole.
Christ.
It's the butthole bundle, available on Amazon.
The
right
butthole
now.
bundle. I fucking love his ads and shit. Like, dude does a good job with those, for real. Anyways, so that was fucking funny. Alrighty. I guess now we will get into some video games. Video game time. Stretch. No. I don't know. I might go and do, might go BRB for a minute. Yeah, I think I'm